Hey there, folks. So, here's a bit of an update on the Duckface Diaries situation. We recorded a series of bonus podcasts on my Patreon on Ashihara's previous works with manga industry expert Maxi Bernard. So, here's an excerpt on the part where we talk about the World Trigger prototype and sci-fi political thriller, The Two-Shot Trigger Keeper. If you want to support the show and get access to the full podcast, go to patreon.com/Wensleydale Cheddar, as bonus podcasts will be available to all patrons at the $6 tier. But for now, enjoy the preview.
I'd say it's a lot more. It's World Trigger that was more in line with its contemporaries, where it's very rooted around kind of sentiment and kind of characters acting based on one goodwill affecting another. The combat is quite simplistic and physical, but, it still utilizes the powers in somewhat creative ways.
But it's also, crucially, it takes the idea of the neighbours, and instead of having it be like this difficult struggle and war really going on, it's a political thriller. It's a Cold War. Like they're literally there, and they have to live alongside them and just assume they're not doing anything untowards. Which is like I feel like there's so much you could do with that, and I don't think World Trigger's worse off for not having had it, but there's definitely a different version of World Trigger that could have started at that point and then built up to the ongoing conflict that would have been really fascinating, if nothing else.
Honestly, this sounds like a prototype for a nice, arc when they are in the neighborhood and they meet one of the vassal countries of Avto or something like that. But yeah, I thought this story was pretty alright. Funnily enough, rather than a one-shot, this feels like a first and a second chapter for a promising, if a pretty generic jump series. It's a two-shot, which is something that we forgot to mention. It does a good job as presenting distinctive characters, although there's not much of a hook to get us interested in them. That's what it was for me, maybe other than, Schwein's internal conflict and, as you said, like the political thriller angle.
This is probably my favourite of the 3 one-shots. I think Room 303, when it's on it, is definitely more unique and distinctive. But this is just the one I felt the most satisfied with by the end. It's the one that nailed its conclusion the best. There's something very structurally neat about it. Yeah, it's kind of it's a very straightforward rescue story, but I really like how it's laid out. In particular, at the very end, I guess for some context, it's about these kids called Ibuki and... wrong page.
Shinobu.
Also like a naming convention thing. What did that name mean in Monogatari? Was it empty or something?
Yeah, no, that would make sense. Yeah, and they run across Paragon Moira, Puella, who, she's one of these, they're called the Trigger people, these aliens that possess these triggers, much like in World Trigger, these unique weapons, who is trying to tell everyone that basically these settling aliens are planting roots in the ground, and this is something that they're not telling any of their lower subordinates or anyone on Earth. And this is concerning, and people are chasing her down to try and stop her, and basically it ends up, because she used her trigger to save Ibuki from falling to, if not death, serious injury, she ends up getting kidnapped and brought back, and then Ibuki and Shinobu decide to go and save her. And that's basically the premise of it. I like that when Schwein, this cop who has come to... He's the one who kidnaps her. The way he words things is very rooted in the realm of possibility. And he rejects the idea that she's spreading this. It's like, there can be no roots. And I don't know if it's just this translation, but if this is intentional, I really like this. That Ibuki's comeback to him throws that manner of speaking back at him, where he says, Puella cannot become a liar. I thought that was really cool, but I don't know if that was a deliberate creative choice, or if that's just how the translation turned out.